She doesn't even go here.
I'm bi, actually.
Excuse me. Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Hi, I'm Kurt Hummel, and I'll be auditioning for the role of kicker.
Hello! Welcome in, you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am your host, Luke.
And I'm your other host, Alicia.
And thank you so much for listening to today's Not-So-Straight Nerd conversation on Season 2 of Netflix's The Sandman. I am very excited to talk about this one.
Yeah,
I
me
know
too.
for Season 1 we had very different experiences. At least off
At
the bat.
at the start, yeah.
I remember watching Sandman when it first came out, and I super loved it. I think it has a very unique style.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of other things I really love about it.
Yeah.
Which I can't wait to kind of get into and kind of break down and see how that kind of develops in Season 2. Things I like and don't like in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think we're going to start in our non-spoiler section first.
Yeah.
We will warn you guys whenever we get into spoiler talk, but before we get too far into that...
Vibe check.
Vibes.
I don't know if we've done a vibe check like the last few
It's been
episodes.
a hot second.
To be honest.
To be fair, we haven't filmed a whole lot.
Yeah, we slacking.
Yeah,
I'm
but
about
we
to...
do have a lot to film this week, which I'm actually
Yeah.
very excited for.
Yeah.
I like getting back into a rhythm of it.
Mhm.
So we might be a little, I don't know if rusty's the right word, but we might be warming up this whole episode.
Yeah.
And,
Especially today. I'm tired. I'm going to tell y'all right now. So.
well, and you know what? What a great episode for it.
I guess, yeah. Dream.
Yeah. I'm
Anyways.
very excited to talk about this. So I'm excited to be back. So it's a great combination.
Yeah. I'm excited to talk about it because I feel like when I first tried to watch it, I barely got through the first episode. I really didn't like it, and so I didn't watch the rest of it for like quite a long time until like, I don't know, month before season 2. Then I finally got around to it and I just stuck through it. And let me tell you, if you don't like episode 1, just keep watching because episode 2 is like, it immediately gets better. I don't know why. I guess I don't want to spoil like even the first episode, even though that has been out a while, but
it's not nearly as eventful as the rest of it.
no, not at all. And Dream is such a fascinating character, and he's like not given hardly anything to do in the first episode, and there's reason for that, but it just kind of naturally makes it way different from the rest of the show. So that would be my encouragement to y'all. If you're trying to watch this show, it's all out right now, so you don't have to worry about like waiting for another thing. They're not getting another season, so
yeah, this is it. There's actually 3 shows that we're kind of going to be talking about today. Well, not 3, but 3 seasons.
Yes.
With season 1 of Sandman, Dead Boy Detectives in the middle, which is canon to this universe, and then season 2, which just released.
I liked Dead Boy Detectives.
Dead Boy Detectives
We probably
was very
won't talk
fun.
about it a crazy amount, but
Sure.
it was definitely fun, and yeah, I'm glad it exists. And if you didn't know, they are both part of the DC universe, technically. Well, like, I don't know about universe.
It's made by DC.
But it's like, yeah, it's a DC thing. So
I'm actually not familiar with how connected they like ever are to
you know,
like, the DC main story stuff.
I saw a rumor that at one point they had thrown out the idea of like Robert Pattinson showing up, but then they just didn't do that.
That feels
insane.
insane.
That feels like wild. This feels like such its own thing, and I'm kind of really glad they didn't do that. I don't know. They were gonna have. I can't say exactly. Let's just say they were gonna have him in for like one of the last episodes with a lot of other characters.
Okay.
Anyways,
Okay,
it's
we're gonna
fine.
stop it
It's
there,
fine. It's a huge
but
spoiler, so I'm not
very
gonna say
interested
it.
to see how that conversation goes. But
Yeah.
before we get too far even into how we actually feel about the show, I wanted us to do some fun little ranking games.
Okay.
So, first off,
Rank time.
and she doesn't know what this first ranking is. So, we have 4 that I could think of. We are going to be ranking the different iterations of Sandman.
Oh, that's fun. I
So,
don't know how many I've seen though.
the 4 I have, and you've seen them in some capacity, are
Okay.
we have Dream of the Endless.
Mm-hmm.
We have Sandman from Rise of the Guardians. We
What's that
have
thinking of?
Sandman from Spider-Man.
What?
Sandman, the giant man of sand.
Right. You're
Yeah,
so right.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
so right. Okay.
And this one is a bit of a
Those are supposed to be the same characters?
They're not, but
Okay.
they're Sandman. They're Sandman. They're sand and they're a man.
Okay.
And-
cool. I was
Crazy
like, ooh.
adaptations, right?
Yeah.
And our last one is going to be Sandman from the Santa Claus 2 and 3.
Anyways, I have seen those movies 2 and 3, but 1 is the most rewatchable one. So do I know who Sandman is? No, and I might be googling him.
He's just a little guy. I actually can't remember if I was trying to rack my head around if there was any more out there, but I couldn't think of any other Sandmen.
Right. I like kind of remember this guy's face.
I remember specifically in the Santa Claus 3, he's the one who like puts his in-laws asleep so that they can ride them to the North Pole in the sled.
Mhm. I mean, he looks cool.
Okay, I have my first one down.
I fear he's at a little bit of a disadvantage.
Oh, being the only one you didn't remember.
Yeah. I
Alrighty.
didn't spell it all out, but it's okay.
So my number 4 is the Santa Claus 3 guy.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
He just
Me too.
He sleep.
I mean, I just don't remember him, so sorry to this man. I don't know who this man is.
You tell him.
Anyways, love you, Kiki Palmer. Anyways.
All right.
Okay.
Number.
Oh gosh.
3.
Okay. Guys.
Do I remember what his name is? I don't know. 3, 2, 1. I have Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's his name? Max. It's not Carl Creed. That's Absorbing Man.
I don't even know. I'm a
Flynn.
fake fan.
Flynn?
Sorry. Flynn or Flint?
It's Flynn.
Flynn.
But whatever. That's not important.
Anyways. Oh gosh. I don't know. Between the top two.
I know.
I'm gonna be so real with you.
They're pretty goated. You can't lie.
Okay.
And I guess we might as well put our top 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nope. And ironically, I can't just put Sandman for either of these.
Technically, yeah. Oh yeah, 'cause yeah.
They're both called Sandman.
Yeah. Okay.
3, 2, 1. I have Morpheus and then the Rise of the
Same
Guardians.
one.
Hey! Isn't he just so cool?
And you know what? I do like Dream, don't get me wrong. But he is very serious. And there's one thing I think, yeah. There's like an old love interest in the second season. And there's a storyline with that I'm like, I actually don't like you right now. You're kind of an asshole in this scenario. And
Dream is super petty.
yeah, and but sometimes he has a valid reason. In that one, I'm like, you didn't.
You didn't cook with that one.
So, and you know what? They don't really do a whole lot to make up for that specific scenario. They like kind of just end that storyline. So,
We'll
and
get,
then
we'll get into my thoughts. I don't want to get too much into it because
Yeah.
I think that is a big part of it. But
yeah.
we'll get into that. So,
anyways.
for our next ranking, for those who might not know, in the show, our main character is the Sandman, aka Morpheus, aka Dream of the Endless. What is the Endless, you may ask? Well, essentially, they are these semi-immortal gods, and they're kind of like the human personification, that's the word, of all of these different things that kind of run mortals in the universe. So,
Yeah.
for those at home, of the 7 endless siblings, we are ranking Dream, Death, Despair, Desire, Destiny, and Destruction in Delirium.
Yeah.
So, some of them we haven't seen until this season. Some of them we have it's almost like a half and half, actually. It's like 4 were in the, 5 were in the last season, and then 3 were introduced here.
Wait, so we have 8? Am I
doing
crazy?
my math horribly. Dream, Death, Desire, Despair.
Destiny, Delirium, Destruction.
So it was 4 in the first
I
season,
guess.
3 were introduced in the second season.
Yeah. Sorry. Well, I guess that's kind of a spoiler. Anyways, it's fine. It's fine.
So, starting at the bottom.
Maybe I'll remember to cut that out. We'll see.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be
You know we're
fine.
not perfect. We're trying our best.
It's okay.
We're just podcasters. Okay, go.
Anyways.
Do
Okay,
yourself.
my number 7 is Despair. I feel like it was really close between her and another person. Very, very close. I just feel like, and she's at a disadvantage because they really don't do much with her at all, which I think is a shame because I think that could have. I feel like she reminds me, but like she reminds me of Sadness from Inside Out. But Sadness, they do some interesting things with her where she's still like, I feel like she's still a likable character by the end because they give her like this whole arc and character exploration even when she's doing annoying, aggravating things that are messing up Joy. Like, she's still very clearly like an important part to Riley, and I feel like they don't give Despair anything like that. They try. She has like one tiny little scene in season 2.
Some of the siblings, especially towards the later end of our list,
Yeah.
don't have huge roles, so they have just like a bunch of different character moments.
Yeah. Which stinks because
Yeah.
I thought she like seemed cool and interesting, and then they just didn't do anything with that. So anyways.
My number 7 is Destruction. I think ultimately we never really get to see him in his element. So we never really even get a great idea of what he does.
Fair?
He has a fun personality, but I don't know, we never really I never feel like I'm watching the incarnation of Destruction. And I even really like what I really love about this show is like talking about the power and like the purpose for personifying all of these different aspects.
Ew.
And I really like the idea of what Destruction was supposed to be, but then we never got to see even like a flashback of, that.
Yeah, I think also I realized since we're talking about all the siblings, I might just put a spoiler warning like in the video. We'll see if I remember to do that. Anyways, I feel like that's fair. I just liked him, I guess. I thought he was funny, but he is at a disadvantage for when he's in what circumstances he's introduced in. So that's all I'm gonna say.
Hey.
Let me talk. Let me say something. Let me tell you something. Okay, I have my number 6 already written down.
Go for it.
My number 6 is Destiny. I kind of just found him really boring, which is sad considering he's Destiny. But he has one scene that I really liked, where I guess I can't say that. It's in season 2 though.
And we'll get more in depth.
I
With these
really
characters
can't say
whenever we get
anything.
into
Yeah.
Actually talking about
He
the
has
season.
one scene in season 2 that I find very fun and interesting, and I thought something totally different was happening at first, but then when they explain it, I still liked what was happening. So, yeah. Anyways,
My number 6 is also Destiny. I think he's very cold. I think he's very. I don't know if cards to his chest is the right word, but he's definitely a very inward character. He's very stoic, and I think that makes it hard for him to come off as very watchable.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say I think they still use him very well enough when they use him, and they do some interesting stuff. I particularly like the idea that he's almost like a plot device, but that's the whole point of who he is as a character.
Yeah.
Where it's hey, this has to happen, so you have to be here. It's so what needs to happen? Well, I can't tell you, or else it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting, but not necessarily fun to watch all the time.
Yeah, I feel like parts of him remind me of Bruno from Encanto, because he can see the future.
I feel like it feels like they could have gone in a Bruno route.
Yeah.
But they didn't.
Except Bruno is funny, and he had a very interesting storyline because he was kind of exiled from the family. I mean, he left, but it was definitely nobody went and looked for him. So I don't know. And then this guy was leading the family, I would say. if I had to pick a leader. So then it just felt like, well, I know everything, so I'm going to lead everything, but I can't tell you what's going to happen because it'll ruin everything. And I'm like, okay. So, cool. I don't know. That's kind of boring to me, but whatever. It is what it is.
Your number 5.
Mine number 5 is Destruction, so we have those two flipped. I kind of agree. I wish we got to see him in his element, like, ever. But I do think he was personable, and I think their interactions were interesting. I'm trying to be very vague. Their interactions were interesting. And then what he decides to do later on after discussions.
Sure.
Nailed it. Mm-hmm.
No, I do think it's really interesting to see that he's like one of the sweeter siblings.
And there's a conversation he has with somebody in the finale that I find really interesting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
My number 5 is Despair.
Yeah.
Actually, I credit this actress because she is not given, like, not even close to a lot, or maybe even enough to, like, really make a staple, but she does stand out for me a lot in her scenes, especially in season 2. She has, obviously, she's a very, like, sad and bittersweet, a melancholy character.
Yeah.
But I really liked whenever they even had her kind of talk about her purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And then she talks about her siblings in a very different way than everyone else does, which I thought was also very unexpected. It feels like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it feels like this actress was like so in it, even though she had such a small role here.
Yeah.
And I respect it. I think it's such a shame that they did end the show where it did, because I want to see so much more of these characters.
Yeah.
Such a shame.
Oh well. Okay, this is where things might get a little hot takes. Anyways, my number 4 is Desire, and it's nothing against the character because I love the character, but they do something really interesting, or they set up something interesting in the first season, and I feel like they just completely abandoned that idea in the second, and that's unfortunate because then he's 4th, but also he's still 4th even after all of that. So love Desire. Ugh. Anyways,
Give me your desire.
like the outfits, 8 down.
8 every single one. Left no
8
crumbs.
left no crumbs.
My number 4. Are you still going?
Oh no, I'm good.
My number 4 is Delirium. I thought she was such a joy. I think she's also so different. I do think it's good to point out that, like, no character within the siblings really feel all that similar.
Yeah.
Which is really cool and really adds to that whole family dynamic. She has younger sibling energy, and she's crazy, which is on brand. They do constantly, like, hint that she used to be Delight, I think.
I want to say they said that at some point.
But they don't really make a point about why she changed. They talk about, like, her changing because one of the siblings left the family, which was very weird because then we never really explored why that happened or how any of them can change from what they are to what they become. And then they also had this weird thing where she, like, because her eyes are different colors and the design on her is gorgeous. Where, like, her eyes are different colors, and then there's a part where she, like, makes her eyes the same color, and she acts, like, a lot more, like, grounded and serious when she talks.
Yeah.
And they don't really explain what that's about either. It's very odd. It feels almost incomplete.
Fair enough.
But it's still super fun. Every time she's on, she's always just so crazy and out of touch with what's happening.
Yeah.
It's a joy every time.
I agree. Okay, another hot take. My number 3 is actually going to be Dream. I'm sorry. I know it's your show. But that one thing in season 2, it just bugs me. And then sometimes he can be, like, a little, like, annoying to watch. Because he's just so, like, he should be Despair, honestly. Like, he's just, and that's just so frustrating to watch 2 seasons of. But He also has some really, really cool moments. He has all the aura, like, also some fun outfits, I guess. Well, he really only wears, like, one, but
Sometimes
it
wears that
works.
helmet.
Sometimes I
And he
love
looks
the
like a
helmet.
mosquito.
I mean, but I love the helmet. It's so funny. And then, he has some really good moments towards the end. And he has, good moments throughout. Like, everyone's saying he seems different, even if he's not really admitting that or seeing that within himself. So, I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
That's all.
my number 3 is also Dream of the Endless. I think he definitely fills the need for the main character.
Yeah.
I think a lot of the show he is very one note, which that's very on point because I think a whole point of this show is, seeing how someone can like grow and change and, embrace newness.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I think that's what you need to have from this character, and I think this actor does that amazingly. He gives such vampire vibes, which is very Dream. And he looks ripped straight out of the freaking comic book too.
Yeah.
He's so pale. But it is aggravating, and he doesn't have a whole lot of flair outside of like the visual effects and like powers that he uses. He's very direct when he talks, which is also can get old and can sometimes prevent you from eating your lines as well as others.
If you always eat, do you ever really eat? Anyways,
if you always eat, when do you snack?
Fair. Or
don't quote me on that. That's stupid.
If you always snack, when do you eat? Anyways, let's move on.
Anyways, that's all I have to say.
My number 2 is Delirium, and I guess I should have already written, but my number 1 is Death. Process of elimination.
Gasp.
So for first Delirium, I just really liked her. She gives such a fun energy. I feel like 1 and 2, they have this in common where I feel like the rest of the siblings can be really depressing or serious, sometimes even mean. And the top 2, I feel like, are never that. They're very, like, kind. They're very positive and uplifting and always there for each other. Delirium has this arc that she's going through. I do wish it was done better. Like you said, I feel like it's missing some elements and some explanation. Could have done more episodes or season 3, but whatever. And then, I don't know, she just has such a fun energy, such a fun design too, with her 2 different eyes, her hair, her outfits, her realm, like
her realm
everything.
Was very cool. I loved entering her realm.
Yeah.
Where she like throws a rock and it breaks reality.
Very bizarre.
Oh, so
I love
cool.
it. And then Death is just great. First of all, I need to marry her. I love her. I love Death. Anyways, she's so beautiful. But also just like, I don't know. I feel like they do really, really interesting things with her. Again, I feel like the other siblings had the potential to also have interesting moments like she did, but they just don't. They don't choose to spend the time to do that with some of the other siblings, and I think that's a shame. But yeah, I think it was really sweet showing when she was taking either like nice people or people who weren't ready versus like mean people or accidents or all the different kinds of death, and like all ages as well. And I don't know, I think they do it really delicately, and it's nice to see that even though she's Death, she's still very kind to people and has a good outlook on the world. So I think that's sweet. I don't know. Yeah. I want to see the actress in more stuff.
She's so great.
I'll see
I like this
everybody's.
whole cast is super talented.
Yeah, absolutely. So, anyways.
My number 2 is Desire, and my number 1 is Death. Very opposite vibes. Desire, I love him. He's iconic, eats all of his outfits. Him just like standing in a scene is like enough to be like the highlight of an episode. I loved what he was trying to do at the end of season 1. And even though we didn't get to see that carried through, I actually really liked the like family version of Desire. Whereas like he's there, he's the one who meddles and
Oh yeah,
makes
yeah.
like
Mhm.
ticks off his siblings. I love the line where someone's like, "Do you want a grape, Dream?" And he's like, "No." And he's like, "I could make you want one." And it's like, "Oh." And
But
then,
that's really interesting. Yeah.
yeah, and then there's a scene where you see him kind of have the high ground
Mm-hmm.
among his family members,
have
which is
the high
a
ground.
crazy thing
Yeah.
to happen with someone like Dream.
Yeah.
Or with Dream and with Desire as a character.
Mm-hmm.
And I love every single time we see Desire use his powers. It's
Mhm.
so fascinating. It feels
Yeah.
like there's so much to be done with it.
Yeah.
Ugh. And then Death, like you said, the
Mhm.
actress does such beautiful work. I think her writing is
Mhm.
like beautiful.
Mhm.
The idea that she's there to like comfort and kind of be a guide to what comes next.
Mhm.
I love the idea that she's like there to comfort. It's not a scary thing. It's just an inevitability.
Mhm.
And she just loves humanity, which I think is
Yeah.
it's very beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think it's fun that Desire and Delirium really challenge Dream a lot throughout the show. Some with better intentions than others, but that's still interesting because you get to it's almost like you're forcing him to either be more of himself or change himself, which is fun when he's usually kind of a one-note character.
Mhm.
And then Death does challenge him, but also
She's more of a sounding board for
comforts.
him.
Yeah, comforts
It's,
him.
with his other characters. It's more kind of learning from them or learning from what they're doing to him.
Yeah,
Obviously, he sees himself on much the same level as Death.
yeah.
Mhm. And it's
Definitely
clearly
the
they're the
favorite
closest.
sibling. Yeah,
And they have a lot more friendly conversation.
yeah. But then, I also like how his relationship with Delirium grows as well. I think that's really sweet to show his character
Yes.
growth, but also the relationship between the two. So
Mhm.
he like grows a soft spot for her, and I love it.
Yeah, it's very sweet. Dream is a very great character in the show in that having him be such like around a one note character. Like
Yeah.
obviously he kind of fluctuates in and out of that. But
Yeah.
around the same tone, and then to see him like kind of get that sort of melted away by the end.
Yeah.
It's very satisfying and really heartfelt to see.
Yeah.
I remember in the middle of one of the episodes in season 2, I was like, guys, something about this arc just feels so personal to me to like see someone who's like eons old and like still able to change for the better.
Yeah.
I think that's a very
It's awesome.
positive and really, really great note
Mm-hmm.
for today.
Yeah.
So that being said, we're gonna go into our non-spoiler pros and cons for the show.
I fear we maybe moved past the non-spoiler. I feel like we've kind of spoiled some things. I don't know.
I don't know. It's here or there.
I don't know.
And either you were
It's hard.
already watching the first season and knew some of this stuff, but it's because also the first part has been out already. So either you're in this or you're not. So,
That's
but
fair.
be with
And
us.
it's been out for a while, so like, that's very true.
Nice. But without getting into the too specifics, I'll go ahead and start us off, and then feel free to jump in
Yeah.
because I think our lists are going to be decently similar.
Yeah.
Ultimately, I think this show works so well because they study these characters that are the Endless.
Mm-hmm.
I think when we focus on that, the show is all the better for it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like season 1 was like seeing these endless characters on almost like, obviously Dream is our main character, but every other aspect of being an endless
Yeah.
is like kind of on the outskirts, and you're focusing a lot on like the human realm.
Mm-hmm.
I like that season 2 focuses more on making the endless our main characters.
Yeah.
Obviously, I
agree.
really like a lot of the characters we see on the ground level, and I
Yeah.
love some of those episodes we have from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the focusing on these like eternal gods is what really makes this show special.
I agree. For sure agree. Again, I feel like most of my cons are just wasted potential from some of the siblings. So, yeah.
Absolutely. I think their dynamic is amazing.
Mhm.
I love that season 2 highlights that even more. You see like hints of it in the first one.
Yeah.
And And I think season 2 is also really good at finding a lot of plot points from the first one and bringing them all together into what they were trying to do here. And I think that's all really cool. It all really works for me.
Because
Well, it all should really work for me.
it works more than like the first season, for sure. And I don't think they ever have a meeting together until the second season.
Correct. You don't see them all in one place.
Yeah. So it's very fun seeing that, and which you really don't. Not all of them in the second season either, but you get to see some elements of like how they meet and like their little like icons. Very
Their
fun.
sigils. I love
Yeah.
the sigils.
Very fun.
And then I have them kind of ranked out. I talked a lot about each one.
Mm-hmm.
I love Death's episode in season 1.
Mm-hmm.
And then I like where they use her here in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
With Desire, I think he was a great antagonist for Dream. I think it sucks that he was so on the outskirts while he was a villain in the first one.
Yeah.
And while I really like him in a different role here in the second season, it just, you hate to see him still on the outskirts in a second season.
Mm-hmm. Especially when they were like building towards something in the first.
Yeah. Delirium, very fun addition. Love the casting. Love all of the effects around her. She brings such a lightness to it, considering we're in the world of gods and the endless and all of this heavy stuff. She's like a breath of fresh air with how light she keeps things.
I agree. Yeah.
Despair. I really liked her. I also really like her realm. The idea that it's mirrors and she can see people wallowing in their reflections.
Mm-hmm.
I loved seeing her very briefly in Dead Boy Detectives.
Yeah.
I thought that was a very fun little place. I think it's fascinating to see how she can cuts herself with her hook. Just ooh, disgusting.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They also do something really interesting with her in season 2, where it's almost like, hey, it's nice to see you. Sorry, there's not really a good way to see me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's really clever.
Yeah.
She like cares for her siblings, but she also acknowledges that like obviously no one wants to be around her because she's despair.
Yeah.
And I think it's so interesting as someone who like feeds on despair, but like still cares about her siblings.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very fine line, and it feels almost Addams Family esque, where it's like, oh, we love pain, but we love each other. And it's like, it's hard to walk that balance all the time, but
Yeah.
but here we are.
I agree. Oh, also I wanted to mention I like how they use death in like very, very, very background of Dead Boy Detectives.
Yes.
She doesn't ever actually.
She's in the first episode, because she like comes to get a soul of one of their clients after they like found their missing business, and they were like hanging out the window when she came in.
Oh, okay. But
it might be.
Did we ever see like her?
I remember very vividly seeing her.
I don't even know.
The other person who watches the show
Okay.
also doesn't remember her in that first episode. I feel like I don't think I'm crazy.
I don't know.
Because I very, very clearly remember, like, oh yeah, there's death, and then there's despair, which is how you know for sure these are tied into Sandman.
Yeah.
And then also in Dead Boy Detectives, we get to see her be like the one who brings souls to hell, which we don't see in Sandman at all, which is very fun and satisfying in that show.
Absolutely.
And then I didn't put Destruction on my list, but do you want to go off on why you like Destruction? I know we did a little bit already, but anything more to add to that?
But it's hard to do it without spoiling.
It is.
Basically just his role in the second season and the way his actions affect the family members and the dynamic, I think are very interesting. His choices are very interesting. Where he ends up is very interesting. I do wish they explored it more. I think it's very, very surface level. But I think the actor does a good job at being likable and, leaving you wanting for more. because I think it's only him and Delirium that are introduced in this season.
And Destiny, but
Yeah, but I feel like Destiny leaves his mark a lot more, and Delirium obviously has a way bigger role than Destruction. So I do think it's fun. He has like a connection with his dog, and then he gives someone his dog later. So it's like, in a way, he's like still around or whatever. Like, you're reminded of him, you get reminders of him. So he's like there, but I do wish they did more with him. There was a lot of potential there. So, yeah, definitely low on my list, but still not. I don't like dislike any of the siblings, I would say.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
I feel mostly the same way. I will say Destruction is at the bottom of my list, and I will say it truly just comes down to we never get to see him be Destruction. So
Yeah.
I feel like
I feel like his conversation with another person in the finale like really, really heightened like what I thought about him.
like I think the
'Cause that's
actor's
so
great, but
fascinating.
But it's like calling yourself Spider-Man, but then not having spider powers. It's like
Or at least not the audience not getting to see that.
yes,
For sure.
So that's why, and especially when this season is so great because it's focusing on these abstract beings of the endless. It feels like such a missed opportunity.
Well,
Even a
not
flashback,
to,
and they have a flashback, and you still don't get to see him do his stuff.
yeah, not to compare another sibling to another character, a fictional character, but I feel like they could have done something interesting like they did with Fastus in Eternals.
Yes.
Like that one scene, you didn't even have to say anything, but like seeing the destruction that he didn't mean to even like remotely cause. I mean, like he didn't, but like it was his invention.
It was the Dominoes. He was helping them evolve, and it
Yeah.
led to...
So, and I think that could have been really interesting. Obviously, they couldn't do that, exact thing because he's Destruction, so like that's his job. But we never actually get a clear picture of exactly what his job is. We can, you have an idea based off the name, but it's like, do you invite destruction? Do you just like help it move along? What does that look like? So,
And I would have loved that because I really love the idea that they bring in that like the purpose of destruction is to clear the way for more creation. And they do a really great line towards the end where it's like, death defines life, destruction defines creation, dream defines reality. And it's, I don't know, and that's such an interesting idea.
would have been cool to like see that.
But we don't get to explore that at all, and
Yeah.
it's a great. Oh, it's such a great idea, and I'm so upset that we don't get to see that acted out. Because also, I think the actor's great, and he so could have, but then they just didn't.
Oh, wow.
They also explore the story of Orpheus here, for all of those
Hades Town
fans. But it's really beautiful. They do some really interesting stuff here. And I could not for the life of you have guessed how he was connected to the story. So
Nope.
super, super cool.
And the actor was really good too.
Yes, he's super charming.
So yeah.
And then I love when he sings.
Yeah.
Oh, so much beautiful stuff with him.
I don't even mind it that much, and I usually don't like singing, but I feel like they use him really well. So sometimes I'm not a hater, okay? Sometimes. Rare moments.
I also think season 2, really early on, does something really cool with the way they like rapidly expand the world building. I think they did really slow but really meaningful world building in season 1. And then here they're like, okay, cool. Our fans are up for whatever. Here is a lot of people all at once.
Yeah.
And I can understand how it could come off as overwhelming, but it almost comes off as like almost murder mystery-ish. Where it's like you have all of these characters and you just have to know enough about them to like see how they interact with the different characters, but you don't have to like know them beyond a super surface level to really enjoy what's happening. And they find such such a great way to incorporate all these characters and why they're interacting with Dream.
Yep.
And it's so cool. I love how they did it.
Like I want to shout out the clown girl with the little
Yes,
balloon.
the
I
chaos-
love her.
The Lord of
Love her.
Chaos. I thought that was so cool. I actually want to shout out a little bit all of the people who showed up to the dreaming. obviously we have the chaos, the clowns. I remember seeing like the like shot of all of the different groups outside, and I was like, why are there so many clowns?
Yeah.
They stood out to me. I see a clown, I'm gonna
They're
ask why
fun.
clown.
Why clown?
And then they like show her like be all scary all of a sudden. Love that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ugh. She ate. And then there are the Fae.
Mm-hmm.
I really like how they like tie into that like Shakespeare lore.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's all really cool. I will say they make some interesting choices with them.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can see where they went for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I will say they're not very likable.
So I mean, a lot of them are not. There's one like really
there's
likable
one-
one, and then one that I guess maybe one other that I think is also Fae, or like something within that
Sure.
species lives there.
But
anyways,
it's very weird because it's taking from like the Fae of A Midsummer Night's Dream.
yeah.
And in that story, the queen and king of the Fae are, they're the mean ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the mischievous one.
Mm-hmm.
But they decided to just kind of make everyone from the Fae an asshole except for the outliers.
Yeah.
And I don't love that choice.
Doesn't make it very enjoyable, especially when they're so pretty and their realm is so pretty, and then they're such jerks. And then they're
And I
like
think there's
there to appeal to dream about something, and then it's like, oh yeah, that would suck because the person campaigning is nice. But then you slowly realize everyone else sucks, and you're like, well, I still don't want this to happen to you, but also like y'all suck.
There's an interesting maybe
So-
like idea that it's like the Fae are all about looks and they have their glamour, so they look very attractive all the time.
Yeah.
And the idea that it's all like a mask and they're hiding how like the horrible people they actually are.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's like close to getting to there, but they don't like spend enough time with the Fae for that to be like for it to come off as completely purposeful.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Like, I can very clearly understand the idea of just, like, watching this on the surface level and being like, man, I don't want to go there. Everyone's an asshole.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Make the choice or no. Or at
I
least
agree.
spend the time to make it a choice.
Yeah. I think that's
if we're
fair.
going to spend so much time there already.
Yeah.
But we see some more demons. We see a demon... some very specific demons, but a demon king that looks very nightmarish. Something that looks like he belongs in the dreaming, but he's so creepy.
Yeah.
We get to see some angels.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very minimal, and they actually look a little weird to me. Like one of them had like some kind of like weird like cage or something on his head or something like that. It's very weird. And then they were just kind of chilling.
Just chilling. We just angels.
And then we get to see Norse gods. Which was also some very interesting stuff done there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Specifically, we get to see Odin, Thor, and Loki. You get to see Thor getting some fights with people, which is interesting. And then I kind of really like what they do with Odin here. How he's just kind of chill.
I like. Well, I think it's interesting what they do with Loki.
I really like what they do with Loki.
Yeah.
I think,
but
he's very villainous, and I will say he even feels distinctly different from
the Marvel Loki.
Marvel Loki because
For
he's
sure.
so like he's just mischievous on like every scale.
Yeah. So it's okay. It's probably for the better that they made it so different. So there you go.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
They also have talked about the Chaos Clowns. They also have Order show up. They're like the people who like were in suits and they had the box that was like telling them. It was like, hey, our Lord is this box. He has a note for you, and you reach in and you pull out the note, and it's like, hey,
I'm the boss.
That was an interesting one. It's giving.
Yeah.
Did you ever watch any Fairly Odd Parents?
I mean, some.
It's giving the Pixies. Because there's the fairies and then the Pixies, and they're like this like business, like corporation that's trying to like control all magic. It's very interesting, but it's very that vibe. And then I forget his name, and I tried to look up his name, but I couldn't find it. But they also have, I think it's a Chinese river god. But he comes in and he has.
I know who you're talking about,
yes,
though. Mm-hmm.
He comes in and he has a lot of wisdom, which is very fun and very unique to everyone else who arrives.
Yeah. So, anyways.
And that's the bulk of the world building we do here. This season continues to have really great visuals.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, something I'm curious if you actually know.
Mm-hmm.
So when the first season came out, it was a really big deal because each episode
It's really expensive.
costed like billions of dollars. Hold on. Actually,
What?
It was an insane amount of money. Maybe not billions, but
gosh.
like it was a very expensive season.
What?
Was
That's a lot of money.
season.
I mean, it certainly looks very pretty. There's definitely scenes where I can tell that it's fake, but it still looks pretty. Like, it doesn't look a bad kind of fake.
Billions was way too much. But it was
I was about to
165,
say.
15 million per episode.
15 million? That's so wildly different from billions.
Okay,
I was
okay.
like,
I came
there's
in a little
literally
high,
no
okay?
way. I was like, they would actually be bankrupt. And everyone would clap. Thank you, thank you.
Right,
For ruining
right.
Netflix, but whatever.
But at that point, it was the most expensive show they had ever made.
Yeah, I'm sure. Like,
We'll see.
I would Stranger Things.
Then Stranger
like,
Things season 4 came out.
They're saying that it's like 4 times the length of season 4.
And that's...
Like, each
Crazy.
episode is a movie. First of all, no wonder it's taken so long. But also, I feel that's a little ridiculous.
You have to have a lot of content there. Or just, like, at that point,
Mhm.
just make another season.
I don't know.
Like, it's very weird. Like, it's somewhere between a movie and a show at that point.
yeah.
And I will say, it's
When
weird
it's
to...
different, when it was like the last 2 episodes of season 4 were movie length, that's a little different. That's like just a giant finale. But
And it
if
wouldn't
it's
be the
every
first
episode,
show to do that.
yeah, I like, and then to release them on holidays, where people are not with, like, Grace Randolph posted something very, very true, where she was like, "Hope your family likes Stranger Things and doesn't have any other plans on these days, because that's when they're releasing, and you're gonna get spoilers online." And that's so true. So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I have no idea, because none of my family watches Stranger Things, nor do they want to, because nobody wants to buy Netflix. Valid. But then they also want me to be present, and I would like to be present. So it's like, well, guess I'm staying off social media, taking off the next day. And I'm like, I don't know. That's just frustrating to me.
Speak your truth.
Whatever. A lot of other people are in the same boat.
Sure.
So I'm not alone in that. You're not alone in that if you think that. So shout out to y'all. Anyways.
Also on my list, we get to see Nada return. And I love the arc that she gets.
Yes.
I think she does some great work.
I agree.
Sandman's Redemption, I said it earlier. I literally had the line, this feels important to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, I think, done really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to spoil that because it's really good. Can't say that. Already talked about Destruction. I'm not even going to bring up that one. We get to see Joanna Constantine come back.
Yeah.
I think she continues to be a fun character.
Mm-hmm.
I think I liked her more in the first season.
And that's fine. I feel like I like her, and I don't want to spoil who she's with, like
Sure.
who she interacts with or whatever. But she has a really fun interaction where she helps somebody out. We'll put it at that.
Sure.
And then she helps out another character later in the same family.
Yeah.
That's what we're gonna leave it at. So yeah, it's always fun to see her.
And then my last thing is that I also don't want to say. So I'll save
Yeah.
it for spoiler talk. So
Yeah. Valid.
that is all my pros. Do you have any more?
Ooh, let's see. shout out to the whole family, specifically Death and Delirium.
Death and Delulu.
Delulu, love you, Queen. Anyways, Morpheus's like friendship group team, whatever you want to call them.
Team Dreaming.
Yeah.
The
they're
Dream
so
Team.
Fun. Oh, yeah, that's great. But also like, I keep forgetting that Mark Hamill is the pumpkin, and I think that's so funny. He's great. The character's great, and his voice acting is great. So there you go. What is her name? Lucienne, yeah. Love her.
She's iconic.
Love you, Queen. Anyways, she always clocks stream when he needs it, but also very much helps him out. So, can't say that. Can't say that. That.
You're doing
You already said that. Can't say that. Lucifer. Let's just say.
Oh, we get to see some more Lucifer.
Yeah, we get to see more Lucifer.
They do a very interesting. They make a very bold choice here.
Mm-hmm. Although I'm upset that she doesn't show up at the end. I don't want to spoil why, but sure. I'm like, that sucks. I feel like she's kind of one of the more obvious characters to be here right now. But whatever. Oh, Nuala is her name. Nuala.
Her actress is very charming.
Yeah. The Fate. She's like kind of like a Jodie Comer. Her face looks like Jodie Comer.
A lot of Jodie Comer.
Yeah. Like they could totally play sisters or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
Hob Gadling, the guy who lives forever.
Yes, I love him.
He's a very fun inclusion here. He doesn't need to be here, but I like that they put in the work, and I think it really highlights Dream's arc that he is here, even as much as he is.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think he's very fun. It's always fun when he shows up. So
he's a party.
An infinite party.
Anyways. Alrighty, on to our cons. Okay, I really liked in the first season what they did with the Fates.
Yeah.
I loved them so much. You have the different actresses that are the one character that are the Maiden, Mother, and Crone.
Yeah.
And they were just so great. I love how they do their riddles. They do the 3 questions, and it's always, you never get enough of an answer out, and it's always riddly. And I loved how they'd show up, and there would be lightning, and it would always be dramatic. And in the first part here, it builds off of, like, it's not even the same. They build off of it, and it becomes really great.
Yeah.
And then also a pro I really should have thrown in there is the cliffhanger between the 2 halves of this season. Was amazing.
I totally agree.
And they're so tied into that. And then the part 2 starts, and I will say the first episode, I think they continue to be as good as they were in the first half. And then it plummets. And
like,
they become
a lot.
And it's like they become such horrible antagonists to the show.
Yeah,
to the point where it's like you did so much work to make them so likable, and now it's completely gone out the window because they feel like completely different characters. No, and
if you wanted them to be different characters, you need to at least like give them a different look, have different casting, like something, because it's not fun for the audience to see these faces that we know and love be jerks. Not even just like antagonists, they're like annoying jerks.
Yeah, they talk like it feels like they're supposed to come off almost like the Endless, where it's like we have a job to do and it's our responsibility to uphold it. Yeah, but they definitely go above and beyond that to the point where it's like they're pushing this to happen when they don't need to. Yeah, and they're doing it through like very deceitful ways, and it's like, so why do you want to do this so bad? There's nothing that we've seen in your character that would show that you would want this. Yeah, and you've even admitted on screen that it's not like your choice. But then here we are seeing you make the choices to make this happen. Yeah, we see like it seems like a desire for them to do the thing that they say they don't want to do, but they have to do.
So it's conflicting, and then also I know that they're supposed to be like the Fates / like the Furies. That's what
they're one and the same in Greek lore.
Yeah, but then they treat them like two completely different things, and so that feels contradictory to me. And then, but if you're gonna go that route, then show them. I feel like they should have a distinct design change as well. Personally,
I remember when I was, because I had a huge Greek.
Kind of like the Scarlet Witch when she gets to like evil face. I'm like, I love it because it's showing that physical change, not just like mental change or whatever.
Yeah.
So
the mental change that you didn't build up.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
But you know what? At least they did that more than they did here. So.
But with the Fates, like I remember reading books about like the Fates in like middle school, early high school when I got really into my Greek phase.
Yeah. I just know little bits from the Percy Jackson books,
but
and that's
like
it.
the Fates, they were based out of Hades, and they were like Medusa-esque, and they had whips with scorpion tails on the end, and they had wings to fly up to the human world to specifically torture like misbehaving kids.
Dang. All right then.
And it's a very intense image. And then here you see them in Hades for a brief second, which I think is a great touch. But they don't. But they're just like, I think, vaguely wearing different costumes, and then they like, I guess they have those at the end. But it's, I agree. It needs to be more like, I don't know. I don't know what they need to do, but it doesn't work for me as is.
That's fair.
I don't want to go into my next point. We'll save that for a little bit later. I will say there's a character. I'll be vaguer with it. There's a character that returns from the first season.
Yeah.
And they weren't at all a highlight in the first season, but they were a low point in this season, which really sucks.
Yeah.
Especially because they sideline a main character from the first season to like replace here.
Much more interesting character.
A very interesting character.
That they built up a lot more.
And it's like, that's a character that should have a lot more going on going forward, but then they're just like not involved but still here.
Not that I would want them to butcher that other character, because I'm definitely glad they didn't. But you built one character up to do something, and then they didn't get to do nothing. So, nothing. Very frustrating.
A lot of these are going to be in the spoiler talk.
Yeah.
Boom, boom, boom. We ignored the Desire villain arc, which I thought ultimately doesn't work. And honestly, the more I think about it, I feel like that would have worked really well here. Going into, hey, why did the Fates have such a weird change all of a sudden? Wouldn't it make so much more sense for the person who can make people want to do something be responsible for that?
Yeah.
I think a huge twist opportunity there, actually.
That's very true. Yeah.
Or
the thing that happens. No, that would suck though. I was gonna say like the thing that happens that sends the Fates after somebody, if that was like Desire's doing, but then I feel like that was a big part of someone's character arc. So it's like at the same time,
I really liked what they did with it, with our cliffhanger.
Yeah.
And we'll get into that in a second. Also, spoiler: the Fae are assholes. It feels not nearly as intentional as it should be.
Yeah.
And then the reason we haven't covered the show yet was because we wanted to wait for the last episode, which came out on August 31st, like 2 weeks after the second part of the season dropped.
I think so. Something like a week and a half, whatever.
And it was its selling point was that it was supposed to be an episode based around death. And I will say, I think there was a lot to that episode could have been. I don't even think it was necessarily like a bad episode, but it was a bad episode to end this entire like franchise on.
Yeah, I agree.
it was a very weird note, and especially considering it's the end of a franchise and you have an episode around the character of death.
Yeah.
Like there's definitely something much more creative to have done there.
Mm-hmm. And you could have had discussions of something that happens with death in season 2.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
that's how I'm gonna keep that vague.
Yeah, a lot of missed opportunities.
Yeah.
Any other things we can talk about right now before we get into our spoiler talk?
Let me look. My cat's chewing on my hair.
Licking.
He said I must
The
eat.
king of dreams.
Okay. La 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 la. I feel like the Hell plot line didn't really go anywhere for me, or maybe was resolved a little too quickly, because it felt like what happened with Dream and Hell was set up to be like a big problem for him, and it set up for a great episode. Don't get me wrong, but it did kind of just feel like he pretty easily passed it on to somebody else.
I will say the choice that
And
he
then
makes
we get no
wasn't
follow-up.
nearly as like bold as it seemed like it was going to be.
Yeah, and then we don't really get a. Do we get any follow up after that, or it's just like they just
not directly with the driving plot line, but it like opens up the door to a lot of different elements that leads him into the rest of the season.
okay?
Which I think is very similar to how like they brought in a lot of the other elements from season 1, where it's like, oh, remember this side character from this plot? Well, now here they are, and here's where he's using them here. It's like, oh, remember Joanna Constantine? Well, now that they know each other, here's her helping Dream in this.
Yeah.
Like it feels like they tie a lot of that stuff in where it's not like directly tied into what's happening, but because it happened, it's like almost like the, hey, over here, more story.
Yeah.
Which I almost like more. I don't know. I like this season. I would say the structure of this season I think a little better from the first one. Because in the first one it was very clearly, hey, the first half of this season is this plot line, second half is this plot line.
Yeah.
Are they that connected? Who cares? Whereas this one feels very like almost like interwoven, where it's like, oh, this had to happen, and then this little thing that you did during this adventure is going to lead into this little adventure, and then, oh, remember that character that you met while you were doing this plot line? Hey, now they're doing this, you're going over here.
Yeah.
It feels very like almost like point to point to point.
Yeah.
And I like how it carries the show, and it like keeps it moving to a lot of different places, with a lot of different characters. I really liked that element of this season.
I'm listening, but I'm being attacked.
I can see that.
I agree. I think it's more connected, even if a lot is happening with a lot of characters.
Yes.
So, yeah, flows a lot better.
And I will say, I think maybe an element of maybe some of the, disappointment that I think we both share on this season kind of comes more from the fact that it maybe doesn't feel like it's the time for this show to leave, and more just them making it end.
Yeah.
And they're like trying to quickly speed up a lot of stuff that we could have been spending time with and seeing grow and expand, and it's like, here's a little bit more. The end.
The end. I guess, in hindsight, they knew for a while that was going to be the last season. So maybe they did all they could, but that's still a bummer to watch. Whatever.
Yeah.
I only have a few more. Queen Titania.
Titania. Titania's the She-Hulk villain.
Titania. Anyways. So she's the queen of the Fae, and she's insufferable.
She is.
Even though she's really pretty,
However,
she's very insufferable.
I will say in defense, like I was saying earlier, that one's canonical.
Yeah, that's true.
That one is straight from the lips of Billy Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's okay. The Nada storyline, I like her, and I like her storyline and arc. I don't like Dream's purpose and I don't know what to call it. Role in that. That's what I'm looking for. It makes you dislike him, and then it doesn't go anywhere in the way that he ever like really redeems himself, or it's just you're just left with that.
It's an
lore
interesting
drop that's gonna make you dislike him, and then move on.
I don't know. It was
like,
it was interesting to see more about it because you see them just so quickly hint at it in the first season.
Yeah.
And then they really go into unpacking it here while he's like already made some decent strides in his redemption arc.
Yeah.
And I will say it comes into a very weird idea, and I will say I think it works a bit more for me. In the idea that like, hey, you can. There's never a bad time to change. But sometimes, like, even if you want to make things better, like, just because you change doesn't mean you didn't do that, and it doesn't mean that the people that you wronged get to accept this new you as someone who's incapable of doing that.
That's true.
And I actually really like that idea. Like, he can still be a better person.
Yeah.
But because of the actions that he's already taken, he doesn't. He still has to sacrifice the loss of things in his life.
Your consequences don't go away or disappear just because you have changed and feel bad about what you did. Like, it's kind of like little kids too. Yeah. Your actions have consequences. And when will you learn that your actions have consequences? Anyways.
Reference.
And I already mentioned the first episode was not my favorite, but also just Alex in general and that whole family. I liked his husband. Alex. The son. I think that's the name of the son.
Right.
Of the family.
Of the
involved
Burgess.
with, yeah.
That was season 1. Well, mostly season 1.
Mostly, right. But then he's back. Well, his husband's back here, but then he's back a little bit too. In interesting ways. I don't know. I never really cared for him all that much, quite frankly. I, again, like his husband. Not the other family. Not the actual, like blood Burgess family or whatever their name is. Can't say that. So.
Yeah. I think it is a great time to go into our spoiler talk. And clearly there's so much to talk about.
Yeah, we don't even have, like, one. I mean, I guess we have the big one.
The big one. Let's go for the big one, okay?
Okay.
You have been warned. We're gonna get into our spoiler talk. You can watch all of the Sandman right now on Netflix. So you've been warned. 3, 2, 1.
Dream's dead!
Oh my gosh!
I'm laughing, but I'm sad about it. I'm sad.
It's done very. It's been done very like almost like Greek tragedy-esque, which is very fitting for the show, especially in this season.
Yeah.
It does raise a very interesting idea that all of them have like already been replaced. Like Despair talks about how like she came in and was replaced. Delirium is clearly the newest kid.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe that was an element. Maybe one of the unspoken things was that like her old form died as Delight, and then the new version of her became Delirium for whatever reason. Maybe that's what they were going for.
Maybe.
But then like we were saying, you gotta spend some time to break that down if you're gonna even hint towards it, because you don't get any more time to work on this.
Nope.
So, going back through, I guess, our pros and cons to find the stuff we weren't able to talk about.
Destruction.
Let's start with destruction. Great starting point.
I will say, I do think it is a nice element that he's destruction and him leaving, because he's leaving his duties, and yet he is leaving destruction in his family. I mean, not like totally, but it's definitely a fractured family. And not to say that they weren't before, because I do think that was part of the reason he left as well. But they've clearly never been the same since he left. So I do think that's a nice element. I kind of wish that was maybe said a little more. That was very, like, subtext, but whatever.
I agree.
Sometimes subtext
like,
is fine.
I think there's something really great to be said about, like, they're these immortal beings who have known a lot of people and watched them live their lives and die, and yet this is this is something that still managed to stand out as really impactful to them, and that's really big when you're an immortal being.
Yeah. So, and then Morpheus's parents and their realms.
Loved meeting his parents. I was like, time and space.
Oh, time. Well, it's time and night, even though it should be time and space. That would've been
Essentially,
cooler, but
she's
it,
space.
It like literally is, so she should just be called space. But whatever.
But I'm fine with it being night. I like the visuals on her with like the stars in her hair.
I like the fact that she kind of like not blends in, but like she like
she's so
folds
like
into the night. Like she is night.
The shadows on her like blend right into like the scenery, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah, I think it's very fun. But also time is very interesting. If you recognize him, he's in The Holiday. He's Kate Winslet's boss, the insufferable one that like gaslights the heck out of her the entire movie. But I don't know. He's not like nice here, but he does a good job here at what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. I will say with these two, I think it's really interesting to see these two characters and like very clearly see, like with these two parents, I can very clearly see how Dream came to be, and I can very clearly see how Death came to be. Yeah. And I would even say I can see Destruction and Desire. Like I feel like those are the four kids that I can very clearly see coming from even Destiny actually. Yeah. I guess there's more outliers. I feel like I don't see Delirium coming out of this, but then again she's Delirium. She's supposed to be weird and crazy. And then I don't see Despair coming out of this group of parents, but maybe. But I can very clearly see some influences where it's like, yep, these characters feel very much like they came from this couple. Yeah. Which is very fun.
For sure. So, yeah, and their realms were both really, really cool. Mm-hmm. So,
and then I like the idea that like even though they're not together anymore, they're like, hey, tell her I said hi.
Yeah. Part of me wishes they were more help, but part of me is also like, actually that's kind of perfect because like they've been around so long that they've like not become useless, but like they're just indifferent to things, even with their children. So
yeah, and Knight offered a solution, but she couldn't fix it. Mm-hmm. And I like it almost became like, hey, so you think I'm here to ask for your help, but I'm actually just here to say goodbye. Mm-hmm. And I liked the Dream goodbye tour. Mm-hmm. I thought it was very meaningful to see all of him go out to these different places and you know, have everyone kind of be like, man, you are not the person you were when I met you. Mm-hmm. And you know, talking about how like I'm gonna be sad to see you go. Mm-hmm. I think it really adds to this character who's been trying to be this secluded, dark aura farmer, and then here he is with his own little family web. Yeah, so cute.
Anyways, yeah, I totally agree. Then I have the Corinthian 2.
Corinthian Return
2.0.
Bringing back the Corinthian, great idea. Mm-hmm. I think we might just differ on this point. Mm-hmm. But I liked the idea of the Corinthian and Joanna working together. Mm-hmm. However, I don't like them having a relationship.
See, I feel like I wouldn't have minded if it wasn't so extremely tacked on to the end. It was so like, and they're together and they're happy. Bye.
There's an element of that like, for sure.
It felt a little like,
but another
we need to make these characters have a good ending or happy ending. And it's like, I feel like they were good, like separately, and they could be friends and like maybe leave it like open. But yeah, I feel like it was a little.
My thought is also with it, the Corinthian in season 1. What an amazing villain. Mm-hmm. And another reason that I love this show so much is that it has amazing queer representation. Mm-hmm. Like, literally every episode, but its main characters aren't queer at all. It's just all over the place. Mm-hmm. And it's done very authentically. It's never like, oh, hey. Meh. It's always like, oh, man, I can't believe my wife did this. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's done so like organically throughout this show, in such great and authentic ways. And I think I don't know if off the top of my head I can think of a show this grand that was able to pull that off so well. And that's pulled straight out of the comics. So
yeah, I don't know.
And I think early on, like with its first season, that's why it stood out so much to me. Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
with that specifically, the Corinthian is a flirt. He's a huge flirt.
Mm-hmm.
But we've only ever seen him sleep with men.
Well, but
And I'm not saying
bisexuals
that
exist.
Sure, and
And
I
they're
don't deny
valid.
that. Joanna definitely
Yeah.
is one.
Oh, yeah.
Constantine is a bisexual king, canonically.
Mm-hmm. You Corinthian? Oh no,
Joanna.
Constantine. No. I see
Constantine.
what you're saying now. Sorry.
Because John Constantine is the typical version of
Yeah.
the character, and then here in Sandman they gender bent it to Joanna, which what a fun name to say.
What a slay. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But my thought is like, not that they couldn't end up together, but as a character that was like typically with men throughout the entire version that we knew him in the past life, and then to see him just immediately in this new version go into a not necessarily a straight relationship, but a more I don't know, but like immediately with like, okay, and now this is the straight version. It's
See,
with the idea that he's never even shown movement towards a female in the prior. That just feels weird to me. And with the idea that it's tacked up on the end anyways.
I guess I can see why you maybe have a problem with that. Just because the whole thing is very rushed and tacked on. It feels very sloppy. It feels very lazy. So I can see that very easily coming off as like, just like, oh, we're taking a 180, but like, very at the end. I can see, yeah. Anyways,
They do have great chemistry together, and I loved their scenes together.
they definitely have great chemistry, but it did kind of feel like, it felt like it was giving like the Raylo kiss in Rise of Skywalker, where it's like, sure, maybe they have a lot of chemistry, but I feel like once they kiss, it's like ruined. It's like, I don't know. Sometimes couples are better before they get together. I read quite a lot, and there's quite a few circumstances where I know a lot of people complain that so many books, like the last chapter is just them being happy, and they're like, but I want to see them happy, and I'm like, really? You don't? Because like, I mean, maybe, but I feel like a lot of novellas or just books with a longer happy ending become really boring, or it's just very, very hard to make it interesting. So,
Well, like, because there always has
I
to
don't
be like
know.
a driving, like, thing you're trying to see something get accomplished.
yes.
And especially
yeah.
if a romance is the center of that.
Yeah.
Like, once they get together, like, you gotta quickly change to something else that's as
Yeah.
interesting and as, like, because how do you, like, when you
'Cause the
love two characters
tension
and you want them
building.
to be together,
Yeah.
how do you make the next thing that they do as interesting as that?
Yeah.
That I can understand being very difficult to do.
Absolutely. So, and when you're, at the end of the book, then you don't have time for that. So, of course, the endings are short because you don't have time to then make it interesting and pivot. You do that in like a sequel or whatever. So, yeah. I don't know. It felt very like, okay, maybe we've had too much of a good thing. And now it's ruined. Or
Speaking
whatever.
of bad romances, let's talk about Nada.
Nada. First of all, poor Nada.
Insane.
Oh my god.
Insane. Lucienne, how could you have known this man for so long and been so chill with someone who did that?
Sometimes in movies and TV shows, sometimes I can't get past what characters do. Sometimes it's just whatever in my brain, and maybe it's like the fact that I don't like them to a certain amount before I find out this thing, whatever. I don't know. It's kind of like, I think his name is Chuck Bass. Yes. In Gossip Girl, in the first 2 episodes, he's a rapist. And then they don't do that the rest of the show, and he gets like a redeeming arc. And so it's kind of like a big thing in the show. It's like, low-key, like you kind of just have to pretend he didn't do that in the first 2 episodes because the writers clearly went in a completely different direction, and they're basically like, that's not the same person, which is very frustrating writing wise. Like, maybe plan out your characters a little bit more. Because I would not blame some people if they hated him the whole show because they couldn't unpicture him doing that. Here Dream has the advantage of having like a little bit more than a whole season's worth of development and reasons, and he doesn't do that. But he does, like, I mean, it's pretty bad what he does to
Oh, it's
Nana.
horrible.
Like, it's not sexual assault, but it's like
I don't know. How do you
probably
rank,
just as evil.
How do you rank sexual assault and then condemning someone to hell
For
because-
10,000
for no
years.
reason?
Because they didn't want to be with you, because they're I forgot, what is it, like, because her home got destroyed because she was with him. I'm like, Loki, like, that's worse. Like, I don't know how you measure that, but it's rough. I mean, it's one of those things. I'm like, I'm just gonna pretend that didn't happen, because I don't want to spend the rest of the show hating Dream, but I do in this moment. So that's why I'm like, it really drug it down for me. And it still does bring him down for
That's
me.
very fair. And I will say,
I don't know.
you see him, like, do similar stuff with, like, say, like, the
Alex.
son with Alex, where he's like,
Mhm.
hey, you imprisoned me for what would have been my...
At least he actually, well, I mean, I guess he didn't, the whole point is he didn't really do anything. He was a child or a young boy or whatever.
But, like...
I don't know. At least
But,
he
like, with
actually
Nala-
did something.
With Nada, it definitely feels like its own thing.
Yeah.
And it's, like, how did your siblings not, like, chime in, like, hey, that's messed up?
Yeah.
Like, it
I
feels
don't
like he
know.
has too many level-headed people around him
Mm-hmm.
to have let him do that for at least as nearly as long as he did.
Yeah. And it got to the point where he, like, I got the impression that he kind of, like, forgot. Not, like, totally, but it definitely was not on the forefront of his mind that she was in there. And he was like, oh, yeah, I guess I better, like, fix that. And I'm like, you can't fix that. You let her out.
You can stop that, and you should stop
Yeah.
that, but...
Like, you're not going to redeem that relationship, though. Like, you're going to let her out because that's what she deserved, because she never deserved to be imprisoned. And then you better leave her alone. So...
I don't know.
I don't know.
I wish...
That sucks.
It's so weird, because, like, there's not even, like, a character moment, I would say, even close to Dream being capable of that.
Mm-hmm.
But...
No, and that's the thing. I understand that part of it could be, look how far he's come, but I do think I feel like it went a little too far, to where it's like, I'm gonna stop thinking about this, or I'm gonna actually hate this character.
My thought is,
you know?
maybe, how would you feel if it changed from, instead of, like, him being the one that sent her there,
Mm-hmm.
her being sent there and him, like, just not stopping it for whatever reason?
I think maybe if
Like,
it was that...
For me, it's, like, the idea that he chose to put her there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's, you know, for clearly a horrible reason.
Yeah. I wish I wish he, like, didn't choose to put her there, and it was not for near as long. Maybe, like, 100 years. Or even, like, 1,000. 10,000 is so long. And she was saying things, like, basically being eternally tortured. I'm like, the fact that this bitch isn't crazy right now, like asylum level crazy, props to her, because I wouldn't last a day before I would, like, be asylum level crazy. I don't even know.
Some would say we're already there.
That's why I'm like, I don't have that tolerance, not even close. So
No, but regardless of how we got there, I do really like I was saying, the element of, like, you can change. It's good that you can change,
yeah,
but you gotta understand that you've crossed lines.
yeah, yeah.
So
I do like that. I just wish it was like, I feel like that's a little far, guys. It's a little much. Anyway.
Carrying us to our next point. Speaking of Dream's precarious relationships, how about his son, ladies and gentlemen, Orpheus?
Orpheus, Bachelor #1. I love him.
Okay.
He's so cute.
I
Although Orpheus pisses me off. Just don't look behind you, you stupid fucking bitch.
And I
like,
fear the story
why?
is too stupid in, like, any capacity that it's always going to come off as really annoying.
Yeah.
But bitch,
Like,
Orpheus.
oh my god. If you turn around, she's gonna die anyways. So, honestly, it's like, well, you're, like, for sure damning her if you turn around. But you also know you're in hell. So it's like, maybe don't trust the things you're hearing.
And
And
in
then
this
let
case
that
specifically,
influence
he
you.
didn't hear anything.
No,
Like, it was just
he
supposed
just
to-
turned around like randomly.
He said,
He literally
Huh?
saw the light at the end of the tunnel. You're so stupid. I can't.
and he
I,
said,
like,
Eurydice, do you see this?
I would haunt him for my entire ghost life if a man ever did that to me. I would be like, I'd bitch slap him the other way. I'd be like, absolutely not. Turn back around. You ain't looking at me. But Loki, did she say anything? Or is it like in the lore what she did but he didn't hear? Because why wouldn't she be like, I'm good?
Because
You know what I mean?
Because it was supposed to be a test of belief.
Right, she couldn't. Okay,
'Cause
that's
she
what I was
wasn't
wondering.
able to talk or
Mhm.
like touch him
Okay.
until they got out. Because it was supposed to be like you have to trust that she's there, and he wasn't allowed to speak to her either.
I'm like, then you have literally no choice but to trust that. Because, like, maybe they don't keep their promises, but then you're not any worse off than you were before. And if you turn around, you're, like, for sure worse off. So it's like, ugh. I swear. Anyways, we need
some other stuff on the plot line besides that part that they
let's
had
get
to,
back
had to be like that.
Let's get back to Pookie. Orpheus.
I loved his wedding. I loved him seeing all of his siblings, all of the endless siblings there as Greek gods.
Despair was really funny on the wedding day. She's like, I forgot what she said, but something sad of like, your marriage will end tragically. Like she was a queen for that. I was like, you know what? Because I mean, every story.
And that was another thing with Despair. I like the idea that she like still went to go see Orpheus.
Yeah.
I keep getting like I keep wanting to say like Orpheus or something because I keep mixing.
Oh,
mixing,
combine
I keep going to the ship
couple's
name.
ship name.
And then he would like sing like Beatles songs for her. I thought that was very cute. And I loved every scene where he sang. I loved the scene in the underworld where he sang for Hades and Persephone.
Yeah.
And then like all the other ghosts were like, "Oh, what's happening over here?" Huh?
Mm-hmm.
And then I loved the scene where he's singing in, like Reign of Terror, Paris or France.
The
and then,
pile of the heads.
Yes, and then like all the other heads singing to the chorus. It's like.
Mm-hmm. Visually, it was very cool, and also what a bop.
It's giving
Anyways,
K-pop demon hunter.
did you see in Lollapalooza they did that drone show and like the entire crowd was like yelling the songs.
Oh, I'd believe it.
Because Twice, the K-pop band that sung
Yes.
the cover of Takedown in the credits, were performing there. So they did a drone show for that. So
That's so cool. But ultimately, Orpheus wants to die after he's unable to save his wife.
Yeah.
And Death warns him that, hey, I can make you immortal, but then I can't take that back without spilling family blood. Which I thought was a really clever way, actually, with setting that rule and being like, so why can't Death just start taking him? It's like, well, because he's becoming an endless, and now if she takes that away, his immortality away, she's the one who's killing him.
Yeah.
Which is fascinating and so cleverly done.
Yeah.
And then the idea that ultimately is where, you know, our cliffhanger ends with Morpheus finally giving mercy to his son and killing him very, like he went for the eyes, which I thought was crazy.
I guess he's probably been through worse. he was
did
was
have
just
his body
ahead.
eaten while
Yeah.
he was alive.
Yeah. So, you know, he's probably chilling. Anyways.
But
Yeah, it was very, very sad, and then that leads into part 2, and it just sucks that, like, it was there's clearly levels to family blood. It's giving, like, the justice system, where people are like, well, there's a reason those laws are in place. They don't have gray areas for laws.
Great.
And I'm like,
they're the three,
that's
they're
not
the three
life.
branches of government personified.
I mean, that's how annoying they were being. So, yeah. But anyways, yeah.
No, absolutely. Before we get into that horrible mess, I also wanted to talk about Puck and Loki. What
They
an
were
amazing
so
comedy. They were
cute.
so cute. I'm actually really upset
Yeah.
that they didn't, like, end up more together.
Yeah.
Like, I understand why they didn't, and you know what? I can't blame you. But they make
Yeah.
couples counseling for this. Maybe.
Well, when you burn a baby alive, maybe not.
Hey, he survived. He just evolved.
I think Loki did know that
Yes.
that was gonna happen.
Because he talked about doing what Demeter did
Rushing.
to burn the
Mhm.
mortality off.
Yeah. But still. Ugh. But I do
He said,
really.
your baby's gonna burn. For those who don't know, we've been saying that back and forth for like a week and a half.
We haven't even seen that movie that it's from, but the old lady is so funny in her delivery of that. I'm so sorry if the context is like, if someone said that in real life, it's not funny, obviously, but it's like a fictional movie. But yeah, and then you said something about bagels yesterday. And your bagel's gonna. Why did you say that? Why bagels?
Because I heard you. Because when I heard you from like across the room, I thought you said bagel, but I like knew what you said, and I was like, for those who don't know, I was saying, "Sir, the bagel factory's on fire." What are you saying? I'm saying your freaking bagel's gonna burn. And I love that one. That's one of my favorite singers in a while.
Anyways.
Back to the show.
Let's move on.
God, Puck and Loki. Okay, so Loki.
First of all, we have Joffrey's actor from Game of
Yes.
Thrones coming back, and he slays.
He
First of all,
killed this
so
role.
happy for him because I'm pretty sure for a while he was like
Done acting, very rightfully so.
Rightfully so. So I'm very happy to see him back. I hope he continues to come back. I haven't seen a lot of chatter about Sandman online in general. I don't think I'm on that side of social media yet. Maybe
Sure.
I need to watch a few videos so the algorithm gets it. But anyways, but I definitely haven't seen any complaints about him or hate on him, so that's good.
That's very good.
I hope that's like true
Put
for
to bed.
everybody. Yeah. I would not be surprised if it's not because human beings are annoying, but yeah, he's crazy concept. He's not his character, so
No, and I think it's also very interesting to see that like he plays a very mischievous character here, but he's still a very likable character.
yeah, and I think him and Loki's dynamic kind of furthers that. But I do really like the line where I think he's the one who says it. They're like, "How can you two be a couple and trust each other?" And he's like, "Well, that's the thing, we don't. Like, we both understand that we're both mischievous and can't trust each other. Like, that's why this works." But then he still gets betrayed.
He's
so,
Dang it!
damn it! But I didn't really mean it. Like, it's like when someone said, "No, I don't care if you do that," and then they do it. And fuck you! I can't believe he did that. But anyways.
No, but I will say, I think it's very crazy that Lyda immediately jumps to Sandman taking the baby. And
Yeah.
why would he need to lie about taking the baby? Like, that feels like something he wouldn't need to do if he already had the baby. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Also,
That's another thing we didn't talk about in our cons. We hate Lyda. Lyda's the character we were talking about where it's like, you weren't particularly a standout in the first season,
No.
but then here you are as a character
Insufferable.
being insufferable.
Well, and here's the problem. I understand that she's angry that her baby's being taken away, and then
Angry that her baby's gonna heckin' burn.
that her baby burned, and like even if he wanted to give him back, like he can't. Like the process is already ongoing, and that wasn't entirely his choice, although that was always his intention at some point. But it's like, you know, and I'll give you the benefit of the doubt at first when you don't know that he's not the one who killed your son. But then you find out that he's not. The fates tell you that he's not responsible for that. And you still go on. And then you have moments of hesitancy, and then that's when the fates are insufferable, and they're like, but you have to do this. Whose side are you on? Like,
You're not being very impartial here.
pick a struggle. Like, I don't know.
Like, come off as this, like, impartial, like, incoming force, or come off as petty people who are going to do this regardless. You can't play both lines.
Well, and it's also like you can't start, and this is for Lyda. You can't start destroying a realm and killing people, and then in the middle of that start to feel bad about that.
Especially whenever she kills, I forget his name, but the Greens.
The old man?
Yes.
I love him.
He's so sweet. And then she kills him after he literally saved Rose's life. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, there's actually no coming back from this if there already ever was.
It just feels very frustrating, and it feels like the writing is sloppy on that. It's like
she's not even cool.
No. She's not even eating, and it's like so close to eating, but she just goes too far, and it's like, okay, you're claiming that you're doing this because someone killed your son, but then you're killing the person who saved your other family member. I don't actually know if they're
just friends.
Okay.
Friends.
Yeah. So then it's like, now you're invalid.
Well, and
so
it's so weird. It's so weird. But
it's like, I don't even know. It's just ridiculous. Is his name Gilbert? Am I crazy?
Gilbert. It is Gilbert.
But yeah, it's very frustrating. I will say, and I know I don't share this opinion with everybody. This is another hot take about Once Upon a Time. But to me, it reminded me of when, I guess spoilers for that show. It's been out forever, so whatever. When Emma has her, like, evil era, I fear she didn't eat for me. And that's what I'm reminded of here. Props to you if you liked that era. I really wanted to. But when you have Regina being like such a perfect villain, and then Emma, I'm like, it just didn't work for me. I don't know. And that's kind of how I felt here. Except at least I liked Emma before that. I've never really cared about Lyda, personally. So, I mean, I'm sorry that she lost her son, obviously, but then she just goes too far in her revenge from that. And
then my thought is also, like, with the ending, and it's like, everyone's like, oh, we can't let her know that he's still, like, I guess alive, because he's no longer her son. But, like, he knows that he was her son. And it's like, so what's the difference between those two things that you just said? Because if you remember being her son, and your body was the corpse removed from the burning ashes of the mortality of her son, it's like, so are you not essentially just still her son, but now you're immortal?
Yeah.
Why are these two separate things and not actually the same thing?
Yeah. I don't really know.
Both these things can be true.
Yeah. I don't know. It's
and
just
then at the end, it's like, you know what? I will be both. And it's like, then why did any of this need to happen?
Well, and here's the kicker. It didn't. He didn't need to be, the baby did not need to be the one to take over the dream. Why did Rose never come into conversation on that?
No, that's what's so crazy. And she is literally already an endless.
It's like, because desire is the reason she was born.
Yes,
like
she's a descendant of desire.
Yeah.
The whole point of her plotline in season 1 was that if Dream kills her, he's killing an endless and would have to be killed by the fates.
Yeah.
We're not gonna do anything with that. With the Dream Vortex, the thing that was supposed to be like a huge force that heavily like could destroy the dreaming, but clearly showed that she had her own way around it. It feels so crazy that she was never brought up even into the discussion about who would take over the dreaming.
Like, they didn't even, like, if you had a reason for her to not, like, you didn't even talk about it. You didn't even say why she would not be eligible. So, just very frustrating. But anyways, I feel like, do we want to get into the funeral stuff, or do we have anything else first?
Let me look over at my list. Meet the parents, Sandman Redemption, Sandman Goodbye. That whole destruction, Joanna. I feel like you covered a lot of it.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess you might as well. So the funeral episode, and then also with our new dream. I think these are our biggest two conversations remaining.
Jacob Anderson!
Jacob Anderson is the new dream.
I feel like I would have hated it if it was... Like, there'd be very few people that I would be like, okay. But Jacob Anderson is one of those
the role
guys.
very
So
well. The
he
only
does.
other role I think I've seen him in, because you know him from the Interview with the Vampire.
Yes, he's
I only
so
know him
good
as
in
Grey
that.
Worm from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And this is a very different role.
Yeah.
But both are done very well.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's very
Yeah.
talented. And I've heard great things about Interview with the Vampire.
He's so good in that.
So, but no, I was very excited. And that I told you that I had seen a spoiler before.
Mm-hmm.
We had watched part 2, and I saw that he was like dressed up as Dream, so I was like,
Oh,
okay, well, I
God.
guess he gets old really quickly.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I guess. Kind of crazy.
with the funeral, I actually back up a second before you get to the funeral. In that whole fight with Lyda, and with the idea that the Fates were going to come to the Dreaming and get Dream eventually,
Yeah.
I really thought they were building up the idea that like everyone's going to come to Dream's side, and there was going to be the army of the Fae, there was going to be the Endless,
Yeah.
and like whatever masses they had, all of the Dreaming citizens, and it's going to be like this culmination of all the people that he ended up having a huge impact on,
Yeah.
helping him like save his life. And they didn't, even though like even up till the end, it really felt they were setting that up. Or at least that's how I felt. This was
Well,
going to
because
come
they
together.
still had Nala, whatever, talking about she was going to get an army. And then
Yeah.
she just
didn't.
didn't. So I was like, well, now you're making her look stupid.
Well, to be fair, she cut off the head of Lyda, and then she woke up
Yeah.
from the dreaming
Queen.
or whatever. But
Love Lyda.
I don't know. I think it's just such a bummer. And I think if you did do that, you still could have just had Dream end up sacrificing himself, so no one.
I want to shout out the fact that my cat is just very despairingly looking at the food bowl.
King.
Because it's kind of empty. I mean, he's got some crumbs, but
What a menace.
he's like, food. Like, he can summon it.
He's trying his best.
Anyways, he's just waking up from a nap. That's all that's happening right now.
But the funeral, loved it. Loved it.
Yes.
Literally,
Literally, my only gripe is that Lucifer wasn't there.
it's very weird that Lucifer wasn't there. Everyone else and their mom was there. Although his parents weren't there, which was also something.
True. But I'm not as surprised about them because, again, they didn't show that much.
It
You know,
seemed rather
whatever.
different, but
Because, I mean, like, technically their kid's still going to be alive, just a different version.
yeah, it's very Doctor Who-ish, which I didn't think,
Yeah.
which I did not expect.
Yeah. But yeah, like, that's what I was saying with Destruction earlier, is I really like the conversation he had with the new Dream, where he was still away and separate from his siblings, and he's still not going to, like, really have a relationship with the new Dream either, but he's just kind of giving him advice and then going back to the stars.
As he
So,
does, I guess.
I guess.
No, but I really loved the speeches
Whatever.
that the other Endless gave for Dream.
Mm-hmm.
I thought those all
So
very great. And then Desire
good.
being like, we never got along,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna miss that.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was so sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And then I really liked,
So, siblings core.
I liked all of their speeches, and they were very different,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone had a different relationship with Dream, and you could really see that throughout them all.
Yeah.
It's very sweet.
So
And then
sad.
seeing them all excited to meet their new sibling, I thought was really sweet.
Yeah.
I really loved seeing Daniel try to immediately fill in the shoes of Morpheus, and he's like going back and bringing back all of the Dream citizens that had passed away from Lyda, who still showed up.
I know, I can't believe they actually let her in. That pissed me off.
Oh my god. Can we talk about how horrible it was watching that Griffin be forced to like age and like go blind and almost die? If they actually I was like literally when she was walking up, I was gonna see, are you gonna be the bitch that kills a Pegasus right now? Is that really what the brand you're going for right now?
It's giving like the death of a unicorn, like when they kind of went a little too far towards the beginning.
Yes,
with
absolutely.
one of the unicorns. I'm like, no, there's some things you just can't do. It's like, like that when Superman that stuff came out that they were gonna like have a scene where they tortured Crypto, which they still kind of did like a little bit, but not that bad. But I'm like, and they're like, oh, but test audiences didn't like that. I'm like, duh. It's 2025 and we don't know that. I'm like, there's just certain you just can't mess with animals the way you can mess with people in media. You just can't.
Indeed.
Ugh. Anyways.
But no, I really liked how happy everyone was to meet their new sibling. I thought that was a very light touch.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and that's what I was saying. The idea that he's trying to bring back everyone back, and he brings back Gilbert, and he's like, "What? I'm dead. I'm supposed to be dead. Don't you know? Like the only reason any of this matters is that someday it's not going to be here." And I really liked that. I think that was a really good send off.
It's like, and there's been a few lines in media about this, but it's like the life matters because it's short, or like because there's an end. Which they might say that in the death
death episode.
Yeah.
They have a point where it's like, I would be able to live forever. I wouldn't have to fear consequences, and I could just do anything I wanted to. And then death is like, well, immortality isn't going to cause that. You can do that right now. And I think that's a great line. They have a lot of great casual lines from Death in her episode.
Yeah.
But it's all really great. Overall, I really love the finale with the idea that like endings are going to be sad.
Yeah.
But things will go on, and there will be new beginnings, and it's all. I don't know. It all feels very poetic. It feels like the end feels well earned, even if how we got there sucked.
Very fair. Very valid.
Also, with that in mind, another one of my cons is like that everyone on Team Dream is just kind of like, okay, this was fun. I'm gonna go now. And it's like
they left.
It's like, I mean, I get that you don't know him, but like also at some point you didn't know who Morpheus was.
Yeah.
So it's like, it feels weird that everyone, like I could understand maybe Lucienne being the one to be, because they clearly had a huge relationship that had lasted for a very long time. But like, even like the Crow being like, I gotta get out of here.
The Crow was like kind of a jerk about it. Oh yeah, I don't know. I get like people grieve differently or whatever, or animals grieve, whatever. Characters,
it just feels weird that so many of Team Dream were on the same side of like, let's just ditch this whole dreaming thing. Especially, and even with Lucienne, she had still run the dreaming alone for like a pretty decent amount of time.
Yeah.
So it feels very weird, and like she's not like ditching him immediately, but I don't know. It feels like an odd note, especially if there's nowhere for them to actively go to. Like, if there's not an alternative to, like, staying and helping the dreaming continue to thrive. It's an odd choice.
Yeah. Who's gonna be his friend? So sad.
So, overall, I very much adore this show. But in both seasons, I fear there are still things that prevent it from being perfect. The first half of the second season I thought was so strong. I was going to be like, oh my gosh, this is going to be on my top 10. This is probably going to be in my top 10 by the end of the year, which is so exciting to, like, feel, to, like, know, like, when you're watching a show.
Yeah.
And then the second half hit, and I was like, oh.
Perhaps
this
not.
This doesn't get in my top 10 anymore.
Dang.
Which is very sad. I think, while the ending is great, it feels like it was just very rushed, which maybe that's intentional, maybe, I don't know. I'd be curious to see what more of the show would have looked like. Truly, we never will get to know, but I would have loved that timeline, to see these characters for longer. Hopefully we get to see these characters in more stuff.
I mean, they're DC, so it's never say never, but probably not for a while, at least.
Yeah.
No!
You are having a blast over there.
I'm being attacked.
It's interesting with this one. I think this is our first, like, show that we've covered where it's, like, the hard finale.
Maybe. I mean, yeah, I guess so.
So, because typically we'd end with,
Attacked
like, so
over
what would
here.
you want from, like, another season?
Yeah,
But now we don't get that, which is interesting.
That for sure, so. Anyways.
So,
Stop killing me.
I guess that's everything there is for us to say about Sandman. season 2 and in general.
Mm-hmm.
So, rest in peace, Sandman. You were enjoyed. You were queer. You were here, and you will be missed. So, yeah. Anyways, let us know, what do you think about Sandman overall and Sandman season 2 in general? How do you feel about that ending? Yeah, I feel that's the questions. So, thank you guys so much for listening to us yap. I am your host, Luke.
And I'm your other host, Alicia. And we
thank
have our special guest, Berlioz.
He's menace.
He's
But thank you
been
guys.
up this microphone. Sorry.
You're doing great. Thank you guys so much for listening to Not So Straight Nerds.
Bye.